Hey everybody, Mike here with Legit Kits. I'm here to talk to you today about Sail Away, our awesome sailboat quilt. This one is great for beginners. There's a whole lot of big pieces in this. Jump in there. These bright colors just shine through. And we're going to take this thing apart. I'm going to show you everything that's inside. All right, let's dive right in. So starting out, here is the cover to the paperwork. It's going to tell you how large the quilt is, the speed of the project, the number of colors, the number of pieces inside, and then there's a hashtag list so you can look this up on social media and connect with other people who have made this, get quilting ideas, and post your own finishes online. The next part is a pin-up picture, so you can put this on your design wall and give you inspiration to finish this project. Then we have what we call the color map. This has the pattern side of the quilt as well as the finished quilt because you sew to the back of the pattern in foundation paper piecing, so this creates a mirror image. And when you're working on the quilt, you're going to be looking at this pattern side for reference, and you're going to be wondering, why am I picking out some blues? And then you can go, oh, okay, this is some of the sky. Examples like that. We list every one of our fabrics by, we have a 2-letter code for each different shade of fabric, and we use that in every project. So this is a quick way to see what shades are where in this quilt. Then there's a list of the finished quilt. And this shows you how it's going to finish out. This is a great guide to help you figure out where to sew these blocks together. And all of our blocks are labeled A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. So A1, A2, A3. The next part of our paperwork is a list of colors in gradient order. If you're just buying a pattern, then you can use this to match all your fabrics at home. You just hold it up and you go, okay, well, this is kind of a yellowish color. This is like Grello. I'm going to call this GW. Put a little label on it as GW, and every time you come across this in your pattern, you're going to sew it in there. This also tells you the fabric name, the fabric number, and the cut of fabric. And Legit Kits come with an extensive color guide because we use a whole lot of color. The next part of this paperwork is our fabric list by code. So there is your fabric codes all in order. This is a good way to check and make sure you have all those colors and make sure you have them in the right order. So you can use those old phone book skills and thumb back and forth through the alphabet as you sew. And the next section is the assembly guide. So Legit Kits have no Y seams whatsoever. And in order to eliminate Y seams, we sometimes have to break these blocks into fragments. So this represents block A3. In A3, you're going to sew parts of A3A, you're going to sew parts of A3B, and then you will sew them together along this line to make the completed block. Now you notice A1 and A2 aren't even on here because they don't have to be assembled. There's also written instructions on how those go together. This gives you a pictorial representation of where the important seams line up. So you're going to want to pin it right there where all those intersections are. And then you'll pin it here and here, right sides together, sew along the line, and then flip it into place. After the assembly guide, you have a cut guide. And this is a scale drawing, not actual size. Legit Kits has to represent a lot of different sizes of fabric. Sometimes we give you 3 yards. And so this is not a cut template, it's just a cut guide. It gives you an idea of how much fabric you have versus how much you'll need. And this line drawn around here represents a 1/2 inch seam allowance because we want you to cut big and cut once. We also have an enough fabric guarantee. A lot of people who are new to Legit Kits are worried about running out of fabric. And that is simply not going to be the case. For one, we give you a ton of fabric, and for two, we guarantee it. If you buy a full Legit Kits project, we have an enough fabric guarantee. We will send you more fabric if you run out of any color at no extra charge because we want you to finish these quilts because when you do, people are going to be blown away and you're going to show it to everybody you know. And that's just good business. So after the cut guide, we're going to go to the pattern. Here's block A1 from Sail Away. You're going to sew this color to that color, to that color, to that color, and that block is done. The 7.5 by 10 inch block makes it easy to piece on your sewing machine. You don't have to shove a whole quilt through the throat of your sewing machine. You just sew this block. These are printed on foundation paper. It's a thinner newsprint style paper. It's easier to tear away when you're finished with the project so that you can make your quilt sandwich and move on. After the pattern, you're going to find a user's guide, which gives you detailed instructions on each of these pages that we have just recently talked about. It also has a very simple foundation paper piecing instructions, as well as instructions on how to sew this quilt together in ways that eliminate large seams in the quilt. And if you do it this way, you end up with one cross quilt seam and the rest of it with smaller pieces. At the end, there's a link to some YouTube videos and some tips on how to piece it all together. At the end of the paperwork pack, you have a don't panic card. Some people don't really like all the paperwork that comes with it, and you don't necessarily have to use it all. So this is a quick start guide. It gives you a simple list of how to start this ready to sew project. Then there are some stickers for your sewing machine and a fun little magnet to remember the project by that goes to your refrigerator. Last but not least, look at all of this fabric. We give you about twice what you need so that you can make this quilt happen. And as I said before, if you run out of a color, if you lose it, if you cut it wrong, you don't even need to give us an excuse. You just send us an email and we will replace it at no charge because we want you to finish this quilt. You can find the pattern and the kit for Sail Away at lyndas.com. Click online and order now. Thank you for watching and stay legit.